Let's pick up our journey today at the point at which you want to import a spreadsheet of all the dahlia varieties you already have. If you're like me, you've probably been tracking dahlias for a long time and you have that spreadsheet that you just need to clean up and get in here. If you need some help cleaning up the spreadsheet, refer to the video on that topic. But once that spreadsheet's cleaned up, this is where you should start. So first, you're going to want to go to the spreadsheet and make sure that you download it as a comma separated values file, CSV. That will be the right format to import into Clade. Then navigate back to Clade and go to the import button in the upper right-hand corner. And you can see a sample here of exactly what you would be able to import, all the fields. And I will quickly drop in the right spreadsheet here that I've already edited. And the first thing you can see is it's going to try to map each column from your spreadsheet with Clade. And it already picked up the name, the height, the bloom size, but there's a few columns that it didn't find. Supplier, which I don't have, and price as well. Tuber count, it picked up accurately. And so you can go through and make sure that this is the right number. Now I'm going to remove this potted one, for example, because this is 2021 data. My latest numbers were 2022, so I will remove that piece. And otherwise, this has the accurate pieces I want to import. So once each of the columns are mapped, we'll click Next. And now you're going to see all of your issues. So you can see up here, I have 138 varieties, but I have issues with several of them. So I'm going to start by changing this to show our invalid rows only. And then you'll see I have 52 varieties with problems. And the first problem, if I look at this height column, is that I accidentally have height in two formats. I have it in inches as well as feet. For Clade, we're only accepting feet. So I'm not going to be able to import the height category now unless I want to go through and manually convert each one of these. And since I don't feel like doing that now, I'm instead going to go to the previous screen and simply unmap the height field to get that off. In the future, I can always go back and re-import with just height once I clean it up in the spreadsheet, or I can manually change it once I get into the inventory. Now, if I go back and filter back by invalid rows, now I only have 34 fields, and most of these you're going to see are name mismatches. I am a famously bad speller, so I have a lot more than folks normally will. So for Boogie Nights as an example, you can see I spelled nights incorrectly. So I can go through and fix each one of these. And then you might hit, this one was an interesting one because if I search Alex Mingus, nothing comes up. Be persistent with this. Try the other piece first, because what I found with this one is it's actually Mingus Alex in the database. So check all the words to make sure that you can find it before you give up. And if you do get to a point where it doesn't have that particular variety, let's see, I think Daredevil, yeah, Daredevil was an example, then what you can do at the end is simply not import it. You cannot create varieties that aren't in the database from the import. You can create them manually, but we're preventing you from doing it in the import so that you don't accidentally import mistakes. So I won't show you this here, but make sure you go through each page because in my example, there are multiple page of errors. And then the last error that I see on my particular piece is that for bloom size for this particular field, I typed in words instead of a number. So I'm just going to put in 0 instead of that so that I can still import. Now, if I want to import without the fields I did incorrect, what I can do is just change this to remove all invalid fields, confirm that, and it's going to remove the dahlias that I never corrected. And if we change it back to look, we still have 104 dahlias that are going to import perfectly. I'm all ready to go to click submit, and it's going to take just a minute to get this into Clade. Ta-da! You can see that all the variety fields populated. In addition, for example, I already had Cafe au Lait in the spreadsheet. And what this does is simply update that existing field instead of creating a new one. So it didn't create a second cafe au lait. It simply updated the cafe au lait with the bloom size, as well as how many tubers I had, which I didn't have in the spreadsheet in the past. So you could see how if I went back to the spreadsheet, updated all the heights to be accurate and re-imported it, it would just update all the rows and it deduplicates by Dahlia variety name. That's our unique identifier in the system. So that's how you do a spreadsheet import so you can get started. And thank you so much for listening.